whatever you do. Do not choose chiffon. But I will survive. I will survive. I'm this close to just throwing this dress away. I will survive. It's getting cold outside, so you know what that means. We need some fall dresses up in here. I have not had a really nice flowy fall dress for as long as I can remember. Today is the day to make it. Some of you will be familiar with my billow frock pattern. It is this lovely dress here. I think that it's the perfect foundation to make what I want. Something with long sleeves, something that's high neck but with a tie, maybe a little ruffle, flowy but tie it at the waist, you know what I'm saying? And now let's get into the video. Okay, so here is the billow frock. I know I will never wear this dress if it's this open. Also in the back. So what I need to do is basically measure the distance to my neck where I want it to line up. And then I will be adding that to the pattern. So I'll be measuring this distance and this distance here. And also this distance, like right there. Also with this dress, I want to be able to cover the top of this boot with the dress. So let me just try that on. Yeah, I'll be lengthening the bottom by, I guess, probably about 4 or 5 inches. One last thing, make sure that you measure your sleeve. So from the original spot to my wrist, let's do this. Okay, so I have gathered all of my supplies. We've got scissors, we've got rulers, I've got a marker, which pains me because I like to work in pencil because it's so much more accurate, but I also want you to see. I've got tape, most essential, weights, paper, and most importantly, I have my billow frock pattern. Go and get yours if you don't have one. Okay, let's get started. Let me show you all of my pattern changes. Starting with the front, I added that 4 inches at the center front, the 2 inches on the shoulder. We've got the back piece, which I added the 8 inches at the center back because it's a low back, the 2 inches on the shoulder. So that's kind of like this. Then we have got the raglan sleeve. I slashed it so that I made it less of a wide sleeve. And then I cut it in half and brought it down to the length that I want it. I also added that 2 inches on the shoulder, so it'll be like this. Get what I'm saying? These are the hem pieces. So this is the back hem piece, half of the tier, and the front hem tier, and I just added 4 inches to the bottom. And then because my fabric is see-through, I need a lining, so I have my front lining. I just traced out my front top piece. You can see the trace out here, and then extended it so that it's down to the floor and it's just like a sheath. I did the exact same thing for the back. So those are all the changes for the pattern. Okay, so I have all of my pattern pieces cut out. Here's my beautiful shell fabric. It was only $4 a yard, and that's why I chose to get a chiffon. It's see-through, and so that's why it's kind of making my life a little bit harder. My lining fabric is being pre-washed and shrunk, but it's basically a black tencel. I really don't like polyester, so I wanted a natural fiber close to my skin, and I think it's gonna be comfy and cozy, but also billowy and like flowy. That's what we want here. Time to cut.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Whatever you do not choose chiffon. It's so annoying and so slippery. I just had to ignore that fact when I saw this $4 chiffon on the Fabricland shelf. But I will survive. I will survive. First I was afraid, I was petrified. When I'm by my side. And I learned how to get along. Also, why am I not using a cutting mat for chiffon? It's been a couple of days, and I'm not gonna lie, I have been putting this off a little bit because I'm just not really excited to work with chiffon. But we're gonna finish this and we're gonna do it well. I really want this dress more than I don't want to work with chiffon, so we're gonna do this. You saw I cut everything out, including the lining pieces, and I had to cut my two bottom tiers in two pieces. So yesterday I just sewed those extra side pieces on with a French seam. So now I'm just going to sew the gather stitch on the tiers and sew them to the front and back top piece and move on from there. So let's get started. The gather stitches are in. Now I'm gonna do the front first. So what I've got to do is gather the top tier to match this section. This is a delicate business.
It sound right, boy.
So just to let you know, I overlock it after I do all the gathering and stuff. It's just easier and it just ends up looking neater. So now let's gather all the other tiers. The front is done. So now it's on to the back. This machine is giving me trouble and it's not working. Anyway, set up the singer. Oh my gosh. Oh no. See that little lip of fabric? I'm so mad because this is not something I can really reverse. Might just have to continue that all the way through. It doesn't really look bad, it just looks like I added a decorative piping in it. Chiffon! Please look alright. This is what it's supposed to look like. Just a normal seam. And this is what this one turned out like. Caught this fabric in there, so it ended up giving me a bit of a piping look. So I have the front and back done. Now I'm going to do the sleeve. Okay, you are looking at the back right now. So let's put the front with the sleeves onto it. Just get a taste, you know? Get a taste of what it looks like. Looks hilarious right now. But once the neckline is like scrunched up like this. Are you seeing this with me? Are you catching the vision? I've got my tencel lining pieces here, so I'm just gonna sew up the lining together just like I did with the shell, and this is gonna be so much easier because there's no tears on this one, so easy peasy. Kitty's going to party. It is the next day. I'm back. I am fully determined to finish this dress today and still have time to work on other things. That's the goal. I just folded in half a strip of fabric that I'm going to put around the neckline so that I get a little bit of a ruffle when I put that elastic in and it gathers. You'll see. This is really hard to see, but I'm gonna sew around the neckline. You can kind of see the edge sewn on here. Now I have to sew the lining to the neckline and then add the elastic inside. Okay, this is the neckline and the right side is facing up. Now I'm going to put the lining right side down so that I can sew up the neckline. Neckline is done. And I need to sew a little keyhole in the back. Super excited. So I'm gonna sew that kind of dart looking thing and then cut down the center. Okay, so this is the center back keyhole opening. Now I've gotta turn this out and create a casing channel for the elastic. I think this is gonna turn out pretty good. Just sew channel all the way around for the elastic. Okay, at this point I just want to finish this. I'm this close to just throwing this dress away. Okay, elastic. Now that I did this part, it looks so much better. I'm feeling more optimistic. I don't have any thin black elastic, so this is gonna have to do. Look how pretty that ruffle's turning out. I'm feeling much better. Right now it just looks very frumpy. And I think I have to adjust this after I've sewn up the sides and maybe even done the sleeves, because right now I'm just not seeing it. I'm putting the side seams together and the tier seams are not lining up. I hate when that happens. Garment is just a mess. But we're gonna see if it miraculously turns out in the end. I don't have high hopes. This one lined up better. Oh, these ones are why is this side lining up and not the other side? So I've been looking at this in the mirror, and at this point, I'm not sure this dress is salvageable. The side seams are very puckered. Can you see that? It's just, I don't think there's enough volume in the sleeves to make it look nice. And then I was of course gonna belt it. Let's see what that looks like. I don't know about this. I'll finish it for the sake of finishing, but I don't know if I'm gonna wear this, to be honest. Sleeve hem sewn up in the ugliest possible way. Love that. I'm going to string through the elastic. Stretchy sleeve hems done. The hems are next. And I don't want to do it, but I gotta do it. So baby, don't worry about a thing. I'm really gonna be alright. Okay, the dress is done. So I just finished up the center back with some bias tape. You guys are seeing my like super laziness with this garment. Here's the little sleeve hem. I finished the hem with an overlock. I can like hand roll this later, but for now I really don't mind how it looks. So yeah. So I feel like this belt was the salvation of this dress. If I had just used a sash in the same color of fabric, which is what I was going to do, it would just get lost and it just would not be beautiful. So this really elevated the dress. I feel that the neckline is very tragic. I think like something a V, or if it was like see-through with a sweetheart underneath or something. The sleeves I think are very successful. I would do these sleeves again on another dress. The side seams getting all bunched up and messy, that could have been avoided if I had just paid more attention and sewed more neatly and wasn't so impatient and annoyed. But all in all, this dress isn't a total fail, but there are definitely elements of failure in this dress. And I'm not afraid to admit that. So, moral of the story, don't work with a fabric that you're not comfortable with, especially if it's a garment that you want to sew up kind of quickly. Number 2, have a cat nearby to console you when you fail. You're so cute. And you smell so good. Number 3, be patient. Number 4, do a twirl first. Number 5, know when to stop. I chose to finish because I know that I could finish. I was just too lazy to finish. But sometimes you just gotta know when to stop and just start from the beginning. There ain't no shame in that, okay? Say hello. Hello. Yeah, good. You said hello. Okay, I'll put you down. Okay. Anyway, let me show you this dress. It is freezing out here, 0 degrees, but I think we had a successful shoot. Thank you to my photographer who is so talented and he doesn't even know it. Like, subscribe, comment. Remember that even if you fail at a project, you can pick yourself up, you can learn from your mistakes, and maybe you can even salvage what you were sewing. So thank you guys so much for watching. See you next time.